Have you ever entertained the idea of leaving the city and moving off grid? Well, here are our reasons as to why we think you should.
Everybody, don't forget, like, share, subscribe, and Papa. Hello.
This one was a big one for me, and I went through a series of good and bad, and we'll talk about the bad in another video that we're going to do, but the good for me is I've noticed a huge and a drastic change in anxiety. I'm surrounded by this beauty. It's not a fast-paced life. It's not a go, go, go life for me. And I think I really, really needed that. And that's not for everybody. But for me, that was huge.
Because of the slower pace of life, everybody seems to have the time to get to know one another.
Yeah.
And they want to.
That is, for me, it's huge. There's definitely more connection here. If you take a look around the property, you're not going to find any connections to the utilities. So we produce our own, which is new for us, but also I love it. I don't know how you feel about it, but I definitely love creating our own power. So if you could look up above, I'm not sure where they are behind me on the screen, but if you look up above, we have our solar panels, and so we are learning about that kind of energy. We create our own hot water with our stove. We create, we don't create, we got a well, so our water isn't brought in from the city.
And that's the whole point of off-grid, is we're not connected to the actual grid. We're self-sustaining here, for the most part.
Yeah.
The biggest benefit, I think, overall, is the financial freedom from it. We don't have the monthly bills for all of our connections, like our water bill, our hydro bill, our gas bill.
It's not a monthly, but we do also need to save for repairs or for upgrades, but we're reliant on ourselves. So,
From an environmental standard, we have a very, very, I guess, negative carbon footprint.
well, a low carbon footprint anyways, but... For me, I know this wasn't Mike's favorite thing, but it might be one of your favorite things too, so I wanted to include it. I have finally got the mini farm that I've always wanted and dreamt of. So in the city, for the most part, depending on where you are, in the city we were in for sure, you can't have backyard chickens. And I've always wanted chickens. And so the fact that I don't have to worry about can we get chickens, can we get goats, because this property is zoned that we can. So make sure, if you're looking for a homestead, make sure you know what your property is zoned as. But I'm just really, really happy that I finally get the mini farm that I've wanted. He knows. It was one of my top priorities when we moved in, at least the chickens.
We're not consumed with consumerism. I find that since every trip to go out and get stuff takes an hour and a half to get there,
Depending on where we're going.
that you make the trip worthwhile and you get just the stuff that you need.
Yeah.
It also forces you to use what you have on hand. So rather than going out every night for takeout, you can't do that out here. If you need a certain item like something to lift up a piece of equipment, well, you end up using a stump. You end up using a big branch to lever something up. So I find that I've used more of what I have.
We're more creative too.
Oh, yeah.
I think. Like some of the stuff that we've come up with. Your little cell phone antenna.
It's country MacGyver style.
Yeah. So we are constantly learning and trying new things. Never underestimate what you can learn when you want it. Definitely something that I've learned this year.
Yeah.
Or in the time that we've been here.
Like when the ATV stopped working, I had to find the fuse box on it.
Yeah.
See video here.
Yes.
Yeah, if you have to, you can go out there and you can find any information you want.
We are constantly surprising ourselves. And we're constantly surprising ourselves. We're constantly using our brains, and we are very hands-on here.
Yeah.
Very hands-on.
Compared to
Mike
from
is
before.
hand-on right now.
Great.
We are our own water repair guy. Sometimes we have to call on the neighbors, but we're our own hydro guy. We are our own water guy. Heat guy. We're our own guy and girl.
One of the biggest things we love about being out here is the privacy.
Yes. As much as we are connected to everybody out here, we're also very secluded, and we have our own privacy. And he doesn't get in trouble for going outside. How do you say this politely? He doesn't get in trouble for that anymore because he can. Because, yeah. That's all. Going back to the privacy. Now, this is a benefit for sure, but at first it was not for me. So
Yes.
I constantly used to hear airplanes because we live by like a municipal airport. I constantly would hear sirens. The noise of where we were, was actually pretty quiet compared to other people in cities or towns. We had a quiet little nook in the city.
But those background noises that sometimes you get used to in the city, and it at one point in my life even helped put me to sleep.
When I first moved here, my first month, it was heaven to fall asleep. And then I noticed that because we came here in April, and I had to go back to work in September, and I stayed there for 3 weeks. I slept like a baby compared to here. I started waking up about a month after we moved here, 2, 3, 4 times a night, and I missed the noise. I'm back to being better now. I had to go through the motion, but for the longest time, I did miss the sirens and the airplanes and the traffic, and now I'm back being leveled out. But yeah. So as much as we love this lifestyle and this off-grid journey that we've been on for almost 2 years now, can you believe that? There are some negative things and things that we didn't think of when we first came up, and we want to share those with you too. So keep an eye out for that video. It'll be out in the next little bit. And
as always, until next time, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications.
Thanks, guys.